Watchin It podcast. On today's show, Donnell says the madness of Florida is skeleton creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Robert says Ralph Fiennes is still one of the greatest actors of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And on this week's episode of Silo, I got nothing, dude. It's all over the place. They change scenes in like 1 second.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to describe. It's all over the place. There's too much going on. It's ridiculous.
You before the episode started, you were like, I don't think we're going to get to see much of Juliet this episode. They're probably going to just do more than Silo. And after what? I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the episode, but like, might have been nice to have a little bit more separation, give me some time to digest what's going on in both areas here.
Yeah. Ridiculous. All right, so let's talk about it.
Yep.
Season 2, episode 4.
Yep.
Silo, the Harmonium.
Ah, you wrote it down too.
I did.
Time.
I got it. I
know. I was like, I got this.
Only took us 4 episodes to get on the ball. All right, so there's obviously like 2 distinct story. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on, but there's a big split, which is Silo 17, Silo 18.
Yep.
And then there's a couple of things going on.
It's Silo 17.
Like a dozen things going on in Silo 18. There's a Silo 18 driven episode.
I mean, there's only so much that can really be going on in Silo 17 right now.
Yeah.
That's one thing I was thinking is like I was when their scenes were coming up, like it's a lot of them like kind of talking and stuff, and then a little bit happens and talking and stuff. And I'm like, there's not really much more to do until we get. But I mean,
even in the books at this stage of the story, most of the stuff is happening in Silo 18.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 17 and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
And because this is very much a Silo 18 episode, as it should be. So Silo 17 with Solo.
Yep.
And
Juliet.
Yep. Basically building a
pump
system
for her to breathe
underwater so she can go get the fire suit.
End result wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a bubble she wore over it.
I thought it was going to be like a diving bell or something they were making. But no, they're just making a hose that she can breathe out of.
I
also thought she had to like stay underwater the whole time. I didn't realize that she was going to go under and then come back up.
And down. I
feel like there's other ways you could have got there.
She ran into some complications when her weight got stuck, but both me and you were like, she might not have even needed that. We're like, originally when like she first, was like, I got to dive down there and come up, and you're like, there's no way in hell you're doing that. After seeing what she had to do, I'm like, she might have been able to do that, like holding her breath.
Yeah.
I'm not
first
positive.
Time around, I'd be wary, but second time around, I think I could do it.
I'm not positive I need that breathing apparatus.
For someone who's never swam, though, she's doing pretty good.
Yeah. She did have that weight to keep her down there.
Yeah.
But, that starts out with them just talking, and I just wrote down just like, so like the enemy, it just shows the right out stuff. Solo just won't stop talking. I'm like, he's been in a vault by himself.
He hasn't seen anybody for like 50 years.
I'm like, that's what happened. Next thing you know, just like blah, 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 blah,
blah. in the books, they're doing fine with the character. I'm happy with it. I think they got a good actor for it, as I said before. But in the books, he's much more childish. Like he is like a 10-year-old boy in a 50-year-old man's body, which they're doing a pretty good job of.
Yeah.
But in the books, it's really good the way that he talks.
He brings up, and I'm wondering because I thought all the silos were like ran the same or everything like had the same thing, but he brings up that they celebrate Freedom Day. They celebrate Founders Day. Yeah. But Juliet's like, we don't have Founders Day. We have Freedom's Day. So I'm like, oh, so there are differences between the silos.
Sorta. Silo 18, spoilers stuff. It's not really breaking anything, but Silo 18 probably celebrated Founders Day until they did the rebellion thing.
Okay.
So, or maybe I don't know. There's things going on. This is like 2 seasons. We're gonna start figuring out. Okay, why is there Founders Day versus Freedom Day and stuff like that?
But so he points out that the name of the episode, the Harmonium, uses a pump, so they go to check that out. And while he's in there, he points out,
which I don't know why he calls it a harmonium. Is that what it's called? That instrument?
I
guess it's just an organ.
Yeah. I think it's like because like a organ is a lot bigger with a lot bigger pipes and stuff. So I think maybe it's like maybe the name of the smaller version. I don't know. But yeah, while they're in that classroom, he picks up like a blue jacket and says that the girl who sat next to him, it was her jacket.
Mm.
And then Juliet points out that the girl would have been 12 during the rebellion.
Yeah, because at this point, Juliet doesn't understand the concept that he's been alone for 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. She thinks, because I was just like, yes, he was 12 during the rebellion, but it's been a while. But yes, she doesn't know how long it's been.
And she asked him about his eye, and he doesn't want to talk about it. I don't remember that being a thing in the books. I'm still under the impression that he got up. Well, no, you know what? I want to stop. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I would have to reveal some major spoilers in order to discuss this matter further.
Okay.
About what might be going on with his eye.
Yeah. And there's a weird part where Solo wants to go back and check the vault to make sure it's locked.
Yeah, he's freaking out. Yeah. Because he's lived his life in the vault. Yeah.
And I just can't understand Juliet in this scene, though, where she's just like, you locked the vault, like making him stay, where I'm just like, what? Just let him go?
She's stressed too, man.
I guess. I'm just like, let the kid go check the vault. He'll go, he'll come back, he'll be calmer, things will go a lot smoother. But yeah, for whatever reason,
well, I mean, she's kind of in a rush.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, true. So that's actually one thing I'm thinking, though. I'm like, what's her plan? Like, you suit up, you go out there. They're not going to let you back in the silo. Like, if you show up on the cameras, they're not going to open the door and bring you in. And
oh, sure, why not?
Do you think Bernard wants to let her?
Do you think if she shows back up on the camera and people of the silo see it, they can stop them?
I guess
from letting her back in.
I'm just saying.
There's only so many security guards.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
I mean, I guess that just would.
By the way, it is way too easy to get to the door.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that should be really, really locked down. And that door doesn't need a special key to open.
No.
You just need to pull the lever.
Yeah.
No, it should be like 12 doors that are all locked. 12-inch steel, titanium, whatever.
Yep.
To get to the airlock. It's ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean, because I was just like, she still back on camera. I mean, maybe she could try writing on the screen, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, she wants to get back to stop the rebellion, or just everybody dying. And the only thing I can think is like, Juliet, literally, there's nothing you can do because if you kind of like you were saying, like one is if she doesn't come back, we're already seeing, as we're going to talk about, things are already popping off in 18.
Oh yeah.
If she does come back and they don't let her in, rebellion. If she comes back and they do let her in, rebellion. Like, it's just like, rebellion's going to happen no matter what. Juliet, you could leave, you can come back, you can die out here, doesn't matter. You living, I mean, they put it in the book, where they're like, if someone doesn't clean, get ready for a fight, because they was really like, it's inevitable, kind of, sort of.
Well, and she did, like, a lot more than not clean. She walked over the hill.
Yeah, she walked over the hill.
Because normally, in like the according to the order, when someone doesn't clean, they just die. On the hill.
Yeah,
they don't get to make it over the hill.
They don't walk off into no man's land. Anyways, back in 17, she dives down with the hose, with a weight that both me and you agreed were like, not tying myself to that. Goes through, gets the door open and goes through. I can't figure out why she let go of the hose. I mean, I know like you were said, she was just. Oh, there's a surface, but I'm still like, no, don't let go of that hose.
I don't think that the hose went stretched that far.
Oh, okay.
Because she had to swim down to the hose.
Okay. But yeah, after a brief moment of panic, she gets out.
Did you know, sidebar, that there's a point when if you swim down without a suit or anything, there's like a point, and it's only like 20 feet or something like that you just sink. You stop floating up.
Yep.
And the only way that you can go up is if you like use the force of your like to lift yourself. I'm like, that's scary as hell.
Yep.
That's not cool. I don't like it. And that's too short. I need that to be like 50 or 100 feet.
100 feet.
I don't need that. I need that to not be something that I could swim to. Like accidentally.
I don't have to worry about that. I ain't going down. I can't go down 20 feet.
That's right. Me either. Dude, I go down 5 feet and I'm like, the pressure on this is too much for my head. I don't know how like those deep divers, like the ones who do it without the tanks.
Lots of practice.
That's insane to me.
Yeah,
that's insane to me.
The people who do the free divers.
What are you even doing?
I don't. I don't get it.
That's a mental issue.
What's the like? You're basically, it's just like, honestly, I put that in the same category as playing Russian roulette. Like, the thrill is, I might die.
How do you practice? How do you push that envelope, you know?
I mean, I imagine hopefully you start practicing like in a pool where you're not, you're just down there holding your breath.
Fair enough.
Building up your lung tolerance and all that sort of stuff.
It's so crazy.
Before you're then going like, okay, let's go down. I can't. I mean, I've told you my Jamaica family story.
Oh yeah.
We don't swim, and if I'm the standard for swimming in the Johnson family, we don't belong in the water.
Not a lot of white guys out in the 100-meter dash.
Yeah,
not a lot of black guys.
Nope.
Out in the pool at the Olympics.
I was talking with my friends, and I was talking about also not just the pools. I'm like, you ever notice? Don't see a lot of black people in the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics. You don't like the cold. Everybody always brings up the Jamaican bobsled team. That was a one-time thing, folks. We gave it a shot. They were like, okay, let's
it was
get out of
so
here.
rare they made a movie about it. They haven't made a bobsled movie about anybody else.
Didn't even win.
Nobody cares about bobsled. That's right. Yeah, that's how rare it was.
It was
they
just,
win.
Did you see them black guys in that sled? We got to tell people about this.
Anyway, she does the dive. She gets the suit. She comes back, and
Solo freaks out.
Solo almost leaves her.
Yeah, almost leaves her.
I mean, he does.
I
thought,
she gets back, I thought he was gonna bail. Like that was gonna be the next big thing.
By the way, this whole scene is like really intense in the books.
Yeah,
like it's really scary and intense. Like her,
because you talk about how dark it is. Also, in the
it happens so fast in the show.
Yeah,
but in the books, it really drags out, and it's like, oh my god, there's a lot going on. It's like one of the more memorable parts of the books. Yeah.
All right.
I feel like it kind of got glossed over in the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't seem like it.
So anyway, read the Wool series. It's really good. It's really
good. But yeah, Solo freaks out, goes back to the vault, almost locks himself out of the vault. Juliet offers some very helpful after the fact knowledge of. He's typing in the code, he misses twice, and he's like, "You should probably have that written down." I'm like, "Yeah, what's that? Who's that helping? Who's that helping?"
Where are you gonna write it down that you can see it outside the vault that other people wouldn't be able to see?
Not just that. It's like he's already he's already outside the vault without the code that he can't remember. So I'm like, who's that?
She's an engineer. She has trouble to help people troubleshoot things.
Exactly.
I guess she's not in IT, but like she needs some soft skills. Okay.
Needs to work on that. But yeah, anyways, he gets in, and then they kind of bond a little bit more after he calms down, talking about the circus, and then that's pretty much it.
I just want to say I love her just sitting there talking about like going out to clean and how she felt about it, and damn if Rebecca Ferguson isn't a good actress.
Oh yeah,
amazing actress, did really good. But anyway, that's basically the Silo 17 storyline.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the Silo 18 storylines.
Yes.
I'm going to jump around a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a weird storyline going on where they're investigating the bodies.
Yeah.
That were like the assassin and Cooper and stuff like that. And Billings asking questions about it and stuff like that.
I mean, after how things pan out in this episode, Billings is kind of the last person who can really dig into the actual conspiracy stuff that's going on. He's going around. He's trying to figure out some more information. He wants to check out the shooter, but of course they find out that shooter was whisked away by judicial.
Yep. We also find out he didn't die.
Yep.
Or probably didn't die.
Well, no, the shooter didn't die, but then also they go to get the bodies or to check out Cooper's body, and neither body's there. Cooper's body was taken by judicial also, and then the guy who threw the firebomb, his body just disappeared.
Yeah,
just no one knows what happened to it. They realized that the shot probably wasn't fatal, and that's when Billings starts connecting some details with some other information he's had. When they brought in, I can't remember the guy's name now, but
Cooper?
No, not Cooper. The guy,
the assassin guy.
Yeah, who threw the firebomb. When they brought him in before, they start connecting some dots that there might be something. I like, I'm pretty sure what we're going to be seeing is Billings
figuring it out.
Well, not just figuring it out, but because, like you said, like we said many times, like Billings is a man of the order. He is of the book.
The pact.
The pact.
Yeah.
And
because the order is a different book.
He's never seen the order. Yeah. But he's a man of the pact, and just when he starts to unravel this conspiracy and just sees all the stuff that goes against the pact done by people, because it's gonna, if he does start seeing it, it's gonna be coming back to Sims and maybe even Bernard. So done by people who are supposed to be the utmost of holding the pact. Like I feel like it's gonna shatter his world. It's gonna, it's like that's gonna destroy. He probably will rebuild himself in the series also, but it's gonna destroy that man when he realizes everything he believed in is fake. Is false. But he's the man to do the job done.
We also get a brief scene where the judge meets with Kyle.
Yeah.
The star guy.
Yep.
And he's wanting to get his sentence revoked or reduced or something like that. And she drops some truth bombs on him.
Basically
about stars and the sun and how the planets work.
Yeah.
Some cosmology stuff.
Yep. Basically from the get-go makes it clear, like, you're not getting out of this. But then out of nowhere, she asks the judicial to leave and let me tell you about the solar system, something that nobody in the silo like. But I also got to give Kyle some mad props from sitting in the cafeteria all day and being like, I wonder, like, the lights in the skies aren't moving, we're moving and stuff, and it's like, and the sun, that doesn't move either, we're moving around that, and I'm like, you got all this from just sitting in the cafeteria at night. I'm like, mad props to Kyle to put that all together.
A real genius. Yeah. I want to see the mines.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna get to it.
Like, where are the mines? If they're not down deep.
Yeah, and they sound like they're like away from the silo somehow. Like they're like you're living somewhere else.
So in the books, you can only dig down. You're not allowed to dig to the sides for obvious reasons.
Reasons. Yeah. Don't want
to
actually bump to another
where
silo.
could the mines be?
Exactly.
Otherwise, you would see like the big drill down below.
Yeah, that's weird. Where are the mines? Yeah, hopefully they show us at some point.
That'd be cool. I mean, honestly, this is worse than the sentence.
Yeah.
At the mines is like dropped in that knowledge bomb.
I literally like.
And then he's like, how do you know all this? And she's like, okay, get out.
Yeah, she's like, get out. She gives him 5 years, which we later on find out, like, because she's like, this guy knows too much. He's dangerous, but also like, she's like, he's not gonna survive the mines. Whether it's just because he's too soft, or I imagine if he's at 4.5 years and he's still kicking, tragic accident will happen. Be like, oh, Kyle, you're out of here tomorrow. Oh no, cave in, Kyle.
So here's my theory, because they've deviated a lot from the books, from his story,
because he's the shadow in the story.
I think he's gonna become the head of IT later on.
Okay,
little foreshadowing.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, we're definitely not done with him, because there was no reason to bring him back to see, to be like, okay, now he's
why bring him into this season?
Yeah,
because he was kind of done last season,
pretty much.
Yeah.
So all this started off, this episode started off with Knox and I cannot remember her name.
Not Sally.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Do we want to look it up? She's an important.
She is important.
Now. Shirley is her name.
Yeah, yes, Shirley. So they're down. I don't know exactly where this is, but down where that.
I call it the down deep.
The down deep.
The triple D. Yeah.
Yeah. They're down there, and he's looking at the wall where they, for the longest time, thought this was the list of the founders. But he started noticing that it's always rebellions.
Yeah.
Actually.
Notes on old rebellions.
Which I'm like, I'm guessing that some people who are on the losing side of the rebellion wrote this, not the winners, because I'm like, why would you have records down here?
Yeah.
But still, it shows that each rebellion, one is like, this is not the first time, which I feel like that's got to be jarring news.
Yeah, there's a lot of names.
There's a lot of names, and there's multiple rebellions, and you're like, it's one of those things where you got to like, how long? Because like we've already talked about their minds being wiped, so he's like, how long have we been down here? Like you suddenly have to really start thinking about this. Yeah. But they just kind of move on past.
They think the last rebellion was 140 years ago.
Yeah. 140 years ago.
Like there's like a dozen,
and there's at least 3 or 4 other ones where it's just like what the hell? But yeah, but he starts seeing that every time Mechanical is blamed.
Yep.
And so I want to talk about this before we even go even more into the episode, because it's something that, multiple points comes up, and they even show at one point the power Mechanical has.
Yeah.
In the silo. So I just cannot figure out why Mechanical would be the scapegoats. Why you'd want them? Because I feel like, yeah, I mean, like, sure, like when actual like power is in like force, like, yeah, of course Judicial has all that. They can also rope in the sheriffs if they need to. So Judicial, but I'm just like, they can make it clear, like, I expect, like, even with Juliet, like, not just anybody can run the generator.
Yeah.
Mechanical holds all. They cut the power, and also that thing is like, if they win make Mechanical the scapegoats, win and supplant a Mechanical. I'm like, well, then who runs the generators?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. So I'm just like, I can't understand this logic of like there got to be somebody else who's less practical for the silo, but also like making Mechanical the bottom of the barrel, where like they're gonna be the ones most likely to rebel after time, because there's a very clear class structure we see in the silo.
Yeah,
a lot more in this episode than we've seen before, but there's a very clear class structure. So like making them the bottom rung means they're more likely to rebel, and also making them, whether they rebel or not, making them the scapegoats. I'm just like, but they're the ones who keep everyone alive.
Yeah.
How is this the smart play?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm just baffled by that. I'm like, whoever wrote the order, and I'm sure
I know who wrote the order.
Knowledge might not know why, but for me, I'm just like, I got it. Like, the only thing that keeps circling back in my mind, and I know it's not this because this is Silo, not not Fallout. But the only thing that keeps circling back in my mind is like, this is some sort of weird test where it's like, it's not about survival, it's about something else.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that makes sense.
I mean, I'm not saying yes. I'm saying...
Yeah, I know you're not saying yes. You're just like saying
I'm
yes.
agreeing with you.
Agreeing with said statement, in a sense. But yeah, so that's my thing, is I'm just like, yeah, the only thing that makes sense is this is not about survival. Because if it was about survival, you would pick, I don't know, the clothing manufacturers as the scapegoats. And be like, them damn seamstress. Get them. Not the people who are keeping the lights on and
it's
keeping
the runners.
you alive.
It's the runners.
Anyways, back to the story at hand.
Yeah, so they decide that they wanna meet with the judge.
Yes,
and if they don't, they're gonna hold the silo hostage with power.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get to meet with the judge, and I love the scene where the head of supply comes out.
Yeah,
and it's just like it's Walk and Knox and Shirley. And they're just hanging by the center column, looking like they're about to drop the hottest rap album of the summer. Like, that's good stuff.
That's a good shot right there. So while this is going on, and especially after it gets out that engineering wants to talk, or Mechanical wants to talk to the judge, Sims, seemingly with his wife's help, like,
yeah, she pulling some strings, man,
plotting against the judge. And
well, so the whole thing is that, like, he wants to be number 2.
Yeah, exactly.
To the head of IT,
and he's noticed that
to the mayor,
Bernard is getting chummy with Meadows.
Yeah,
all of a sudden. So, like I said, he's plotting. He wants to get her impeached. His wife is like, she doesn't even need to get impeached. You just need to get the kind of the threat out there to get Bernard back on your side. I will say, at this point in the show, I was thinking Bernard was going to do to Sims what Sims did to his shadow. I did not see the way things were going. I thought that was going to happen, because I thought, like, Bernard made it very clear, like, Judge Meadows is like the one person in the silo that he holds like any esteem with. And also we see a little bit more of this, but they seem like they are pretty chummy, back in the day. Like, they were actually like actual friends, maybe even more than friends by what Meadows says.
Oh, I definitely think they were more than friends.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
especially
the
way they embrace slavery at the end. Yeah.
I thought for sure that Sims was going to be falling off a bridge or something. I was like, Sims, you don't realize how important Meadows is to Bernard. I was wrong, but I just thought for sure. I was like, Sims, you're about to get done what happened to your shadow is about to happen to you, my friend. And I guess a shadow did die, just not the one I thought was going to die.
Yeah. But Bernard ends up going to see the judge.
Yep.
And inviting her to dinner.
Mm-hmm. To get her suit sized. And so here's another thing. Even before Bernard does what he does, I was just thinking, like, why would you trust Bernard to get you a suit that's going to keep you alive?
Because they used to be a thing.
Yeah, sure,
You know.
I guess. But one thing he even says, a little bit later in the scene when we get to what happens, so he says the reason why I actually left being your shadow wasn't because I couldn't stand being around you, which is what he gave. It was all the time. It was that I knew you could never give yourself completely to me.
Yeah.
And so my thought is like, okay, yeah, you're pretty important to him, but you, like you said, you know he values the order and the pact and the silo and all that stuff above all else, as we do see.
Yeah.
And so it's like, would you really trust him to give you a suit where you can go out and, yeah, you're supposed to, when we're doing maintenance and the judge sneaks off, yada, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, you sure he really would trust you to just hold to that, not come back and stir up some shit by dancing in front of the cameras? So I'm just like, why would you trust him?
By the way, knowing what you know when you read the books, you're like, Bernard's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah.
There's like a character in movie 2012. That's a throwback. That's the whole movie. John Cusack.
Yeah.
But oh man, what's the name of the actor? They got a guy that they make out to be a bad guy, who's man, I can't think what the actor's name is. Dang it! Hang on, can we?
Yep.
Give me a second here.
Now, while you're looking at,
do you remember the movie enough?
No, I don't remember enough. I just thinking because I love movies where the guy who is the bad guy for the movie, when you look at it big picture, you realize, nah, because one that they always talk about is Ghostbusters 2. And the Department of stuff. I was like, these guys who are not sanctioned by any government have a nuclear reactor in their basement. They're doing unsanctioned science. It's like, this is not a bad guy. This is a man trying to do his civic duty. And he's like, hold up. We just have these 3 crazed scientists with a nuclear reactor just doing who knows what in the middle of New York. Somebody should say something.
And in 2012, there's a character played by Oliver Platt, who's just like, they make him out to be a bad guy, but he's like, no, we're only going to be able to save like 1 million people.
Yeah.
It's about the survival of the species.
Yep.
I'm going to have to do some evil things and let a lot of people die to get it done.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, well, that's horrible. But he's right.
Yep.
Sometimes somebody's got to make the hard choices.
That's why Sheriff Boyd shouldn't be upset that he left face in the road.
Yeah.
Gotta make the calls, man.
Anyway, at this dinner with the judge and the mayor, he poisons her.
Yep.
With the food, with the mushrooms.
The mushrooms. Not in the wine, because he would have suspected that. Which I'm just like, what type of
Well, she did say she was going to stop drinking.
That too, yeah. But no, she's like, it wouldn't be the wine, because I would suspect that.
But we find out that she knows something about the hard drive.
Yeah.
And it has something to do with a guy named Salvador Quinn.
Yes.
Who went out to clean 140 years ago. And I guess he didn't clean.
He was the head of IT.
Head of IT. Okay. Yeah. So, and he wrote some kind of coded letter.
Yeah.
That she decoded, but we don't get to find out anything about it. I don't remember any of this from the books.
She won't tell Bernard, but yeah, none of this from the books.
But it was enough to get her to quit being his shadow.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what could be in the letter that she would.
Well, no, that wasn't what got her to quit from being a shadow.
Oh.
What she said, what got her from being a shadow is because, like you said, they were obviously a couple of some sort, and she just knew that she would never come first to the shadow.
Fair enough.
To the silo.
Anyway, she got some information that she takes to her death, which I would really like to have, because I don't remember anything about Salvador Quinn or any of that stuff.
They're
from the books.
Dredge it up at some point and all that.
But then she wants to go upstairs to the cafeteria to look outside one last time. He won't let her for obvious reasons.
You can't bring a dying judge into the cafeteria. Plus, honestly, I don't think she would have made it. Yeah. They're in his thing. There's no way she would have made it from his apartment all the way to the cafeteria before she died. But he whips out a VR headset.
Yeah.
He's like,
Costa Rica.
Let's go to Costa Rica. And you can, what I love, like I said, I told you while we were watching, is like, Bernard's watched this thing so many times.
Oh yeah, he's walking her through it blind.
He has it on her face. Can't see things, but he's like, look over here, check out this, look over there. I'm like, this is what Bernard does on a Friday night. When Bernard gets off, he goes home, pours himself a cup of wine, puts on the Costa Rica VR, and just has a good time. I said earlier, I was like, after last week when we had a little bit of an intimate scene between these two, I was like, I'd prefer not to have another intimate scene. But I'm okay. It was sad because I was growing to like Meadows. I was liking her character. I felt like things were going stuff. Sad to see her go, but I was okay with this send off.
Yeah.
Then Sim sews up.
Yeah.
And
with a bag and a knife. And I'm like,
that
knife is too small to cut her up.
Yeah, I know. I was like, Sims, I know you probably haven't done this much, but you're going to need a bigger knife.
But we cut back to the gang.
Yeah, Knox
from
and them
Mechanical moving up the stairs to talk to the judge.
They get a police escort.
Yep.
And strangely, one civilian chick who was a cop at one, or at least worked with a cop. Don't know why she's there, but they get a police escort.
She was the assistant to the general manager.
Yeah. They get a police escort part of the way, and just seeing I wrote this down because I was like, I wonder if this reaction would be the same. Because like I said, there's very much a class structure and stuff, and everybody is very up in arms about Mechanical going to see the judge. Just going to see the judge. They don't even know why Mechanical's going or anything. But I'm like, what about if this was in peace times? If Mechanical said, hey, we can go see the judge. I feel like there still be some animosity, just the way they treat Mechanical, which once again, I don't understand why, because they're the ones who are literally keeping this place running.
But the people upstairs, out of sight, out of mind, they don't.
Oh, no, that's why I'm saying why the order would be set up that way, to have them be the lower rung. Like, honestly, like I said, once again, this is why I'm like, this is not built for survival. It's built for something else, some testing or something. But I would literally have be like judicial in IT and judicial at the top, maybe the judge next. Maybe then sheriffs and then Mechanical, because I'm just like, they keep the silo running. Honestly, might put Mechanical above sheriffs at the end of the day, but because I'm just
I mean, look, it makes sense to me because that's what he's talking about at the beginning of the episode when he's down there reading, the histories of the rebellions, is because at the end of the day, Mechanical can shut the power off.
Yeah.
And that makes him an instant villain.
Yeah.
Because at some point in a rebellion, the power is going to go out.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Mechanical's fault, whether they did it intentionally or not.
True.
And then everybody will blame Mechanical for the problem. I'm just
saying, making, while like I said, they are the instant villain and the easiest, the fact that they're also like, but other side of the coin is, that's also why I'd want to keep them on my side the most. Like, I want to treat them well because it's like, they will turn off the power. So that's why I'd be like,
you always need an enemy, Donnell, in a fascist government.
I guess. I'm just saying, I feel like you make Mechanical part of that fascist government. I'd be giving Mechanical foot massages and be like, hey, you guys all cool? You need anybody whacked? You need us to do anything? What you need? You want some stolen artifact? You get some stolen artifacts. Sort of keep them nice and cozy. Once again, like I said, make the seamstress the seamstress the RW.
But they do fall into the villain role. Because they do shut off the power in an awesome
way.
They
get blocked. Awesome, but also I'm just like, it could be like we didn't see where that second ball landed because they pull some balls out of the bag. Red ball means turn off the power. Green ball means turn it on, and they drop that red ball.
End embargo. Start embargo.
Yeah. They drop that red ball, and it falls all the way through the silo, and when it comes down, you hear it smash and ricochet, and everyone like jumps and ducks out of the way, and I'm like, so you just killing your own people.
The ball didn't even have to fall on someone directly. The way it ricocheted would have taken out someone.
Taking somebody out too, and I'm like, I mean, I guess you're dedicated to your cause. Like I said, we didn't see what happened with the green ball. Bernard made it seem like he was getting what they want, but still, they caved too quickly. Mm-hmm. Like when Bernard's like, well, turn the power on, you can see the judge. I'd be like, no, we'll see the judge, then we turn the power on.
By the way, like if I'm the lady with the ball bag, I'm scared as hell.
Oh yeah,
I'm like you're the first person getting taken out. Because you got the magic turn the power off and on balls.
Mm-hmm. Apparently only bring one of each though.
Yeah.
So they're led in to see Judge Meadows, but they tell them that only Knox and Shelley can go in. They walk in. and there's Sims. When he steps away, Meadows has that knife. That's why it didn't need to be big. It's just plunged into her chest.
Yeah.
I was just like, damn. Like I said, I thought Sims was going to be the one who died after he... I do like that Bernard makes it clear, though, that he knows Sims was the reason why people started wanting to impeach Meadows. Yeah. And I feel like that's gonna keep a thorn in their relationship. You know, he's like, you forced my hand. I didn't want to do this, but it's for the good of the silo. But like, I feel like there's some unfinished business there, I guess.
Yeah. But they go out.
Yep.
The gang. They
Yep.
start making their way down the stairs.
Yep.
And Sims comes out and tells the crowd that
Meadows died a hero, denying them their want to go out, and gets the crowd all riled up for a good old lynch mob.
Yeah. Basically blaming the death of Judge Meadows on Mechanical. On the gang that's come up.
Yep.
And then
the rebellion's here now. Like, there's no stopping it. I mean, Bernard did make it clear last episode that he wanted the rebellion, which I still don't fully understand. But anyways, wanted the rebellion. I guess it's so you can have a reason to, have a big scuffle. You blame Mechanical, even though I still don't think this should be scapegoat, but at least you blame the scapegoat. You take out the scapegoat, maybe do some mind wiping stuff, and then everybody goes back to living in the silo peacefully. Where if you just come to terms with the disputes between the thing, there's always going to be that stuff in the background of like, but what is going on? There's definitely something more. So yeah, I guess I understand why he wants the rebellion. It kind of, as long as you win, it kind of allows you to reset the silo. But damn,
I feel like this mob heading down the stairs, the spiral staircase, was way too orderly.
Oh yeah, way too.
I feel like it would have been a mad stampede, and people would have been falling off. I was going to say people would have been falling
off, and also, like I said, I don't know why they only had one of each ball. Because I guarantee
we don't know they only had one of each ball.
Then why haven't they dropped? Why?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
you dropped that second red ball because like you're ready for it. Like I said, they showed you ready for it. Get your lights out. Because that's the only way I see them getting back to Mechanical alive.
Especially the like walk and tow. Mm-hmm. Like you ain't running down. They're on like level like 25.
Yeah,
they gotta go down like 120 flights.
Yeah,
they're not getting nowhere.
They're not making it nowhere.
Not with a mob after you. And word spreading.
Yep.
And sound travels in that thing.
Oh yeah, everyone's gonna know. Everyone's gonna know.
You're gonna be surrounded.
Everybody's already up in arms about the fact that just Mechanical walked past their level to go to judicial. So yeah, no, everybody's gonna be ready to join that mob. And yeah, Juliet's over in 17 trying to get back to stop a rebellion. I'm like, Juliet did.
I wonder if she's gonna get back next episode. I don't think she will.
No, I don't think so either.
I think next episode was going to be a lot of Silo 18.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see the lines drawn in the sand between the two sides, and I think we're also gonna get some Billings poking around in the background.
Oh, okay, yeah, billing stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
If you enjoy this show, you should consider visiting our website, watchingitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and links to support us on Patreon and Spotify and all that good stuff. You can also find a link to email us, watchingitpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Donnell, what else should they do?
We have our Christmas specials coming up. As always, going to be a two-parter. We're going to do our pre-Christmas special, picking out our show with a friend of the podcast, Mike. And then we will have our actual Christmas special later on for you guys. Looking forward to that. Though list isn't as exciting as it could be, but hey,
there'll be a gem in there
about
somewhere.
To say we always get something good out of it. So we got that coming up.
Even if it's bad, it's good, Donna.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes it's better to be bad. But yeah, so we got that coming up. Looking forward to that, and got some good shows coming up. I got some ideas for maybe a couple specials. So yeah, got a lot of good content coming up for you guys. And yeah.
All right, Donnell, tell me about Florida skeleton creatures.
So that was just me putting together, because I watched a lot this week, Robert. For me, I watched a lot.
An omnibus.
So one is, and this wasn't part of my little title I put together, my little tag there, but I finished From.
Yeah. Was I finished? You caught up.
I've caught up. Yeah.
End of season 3 has ended.
End of season 3
with more questions than we got answers.
A lot of answers.
A lot of answers in season
that
3.
just led to more questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of questions. And like I already said earlier, the biggest thing for me is just how frustrating all the characters from this show got in season 3. All of them had moments where I was like, "Stop it! Stop being dumb!
Yeah.
Why are you doing?"
Yeah.
The part, like, I just remember that the part.
Buddy system.
Yeah,
Buddy system.
All the
Nobody
time.
is ever alone.
All the time.
Ever. Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, but like I said, if me and you were
Oh, yeah.
we'd be running. Because I was say the buddy system, weekly meetings.
Yeah.
Buddy and weekly meeting where everybody says, "Hey, what weird stuff have you seen? Let's break it down." Because there was literally a part.
Anybody talking to you in your dreams? You see a ghost?
I forget what it was. Where like
puppets.
One person like had this bit of information that went with this bit of information, and they just never were in the same location for the longest time. Like, no, weekly meetings.
No. There's like the daughter like goes to the ruins.
Yeah,
and then she's like, "Oh, what happens?" Then she has a seizure, and they're like, "What happened when you went there?" And she's like, "Oh, I just had a weird dream."
Yeah,
tell
everybody
about it.
is
Dreams
so
are
much
not just
about
dreams
not
here.
telling other people.
Yeah.
Or what about the funniest
if she had been
things?
like told her dreams, she would have been like, "Oh yeah, I went into this weird dungeon room.
Yeah,
and I dropped a rope down the well."
Yep, and boy would be
and
like,
boy would have been like, "Hold
I was
up."
in that well.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? One of the things that got me actually the most is Fatima, and her eating rotten vegetables, right? And there's a part where they finally are going. Christy gets the machine, whatever I can't remember what they're called all of a sudden, but where you can see the baby inside.
Yeah. Sonogram.
Yeah. And they're like, "Let's go see Christy," and they're like, "Okay, I'll go, but let's not tell Christy about me eating rotten vegetables until we absolutely have to." And I'm like, "Hey, Fatima, you absolutely had to tell Christy you were eating rotten vegetables, and more than that, sticking your finger in bullet hole wound and lipping up blood like 5 days ago. You are well past the point of you need to tell Christy. If you're waiting until you absolutely need to, that was 5 days ago." I'm like, oh yeah, Fatima was
especially when the lady that she killed, which is not like a big reveal, honestly.
Yeah.
But like when she was like, "Oh yeah, I crave dirt," it's like it's just normal. To crave weird things.
Yeah.
That's when you go to the doctor and be like, "Hey, I'm craving these weird things.
Some weird things. Just want to make sure." Yeah.
Like buddy over here, she said it was normal.
Freaking
Pediatrician lady would be like, "Yeah, it's
great.
normal."
So,
what are you craving? It's like, I don't know, human flesh.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Okay, maybe we need to lock it down.
Maybe we want to do some tests." But great show. Really, really looking forward to season 4. Because I need answers. I need answers.
I had to wait 2 years from season 2 between season 2 and season 3.
I'm glad I didn't have to do none of that. I'm glad just bam. I mean,
you might have to wait another 2 years for season 4.
But at least as soon as I got done with season 2, it was like bam, smash cut.
One of the best shows out there for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Linus is still the line.
Oh yeah.
Like I've been thinking about it, Robert, and I'm like, I think besides Severance, I don't know if there's a better show out there than Lioness.
Below Silo or above Silo?
Above Silo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good.
Above Silo.
It's
like,
really good.
I think besides Severance, Linus is just.
I still think the pilot. I still think she's playing them.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. Playing them hard.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's the last episode of the season. Ooh. Anyways, not talking about Linus. Let's move on. Not know what's from. Watched a bunch of shows. I watched on HBO. There is it's Florida Man.
I couldn't get into it. I tried. Vince Vaughn, right?
No.
Okay.
No. It's so what it is Florida Man stories. How that you always hear about them. They got actual Florida Man stories. They got the people who were in them to tell their stories, but they got professional actors to act it out. It's pretty hilarious. It's just, getting some it's only 6 episodes. It's just if you heard Florida Man stories before, just seen those headlines, Florida Man does blank to blank. It's just literally some of those stories just told by the people who actually went through them.
Interesting.
And acted out. It's pretty funny.
By the way, I was thinking of a show called Bad Monkey, which is a show from this year with Vince Vaughn, which I like Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
he's
all right.
He's a good actor. Decent, fun.
Yep.
And he plays a Miami, Florida food health inspector for the police department. It is
okay.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
he's like a bad cop that got demoted to health inspector. Yeah.
checked out a show on Netflix called The Madness.
Was that any good?
It is.
Okay.
It is. It's
on
pretty
my
good.
list. I haven't checked it out yet.
I mean, just quick rundown. No spoilers of it. Essentially, what it is a news pundit, which is a weird main character, but a news pundit who's known to have a little bit of a controversial take on stuff by people who see him on TV. Needs to get away from it all, so he takes a quick little vacation. Meets his neighbor. He rents an Airbnb. Meets his neighbor, who seems to be a nice guy. He's like, hey, you need anything while you out here, you swing on by my place. So power goes out. He can't get the generator in. He swings by. Man's dead. There's a hit squad, like, how they have the tarp down in the room and they got the saw to cut up the body. There's 2 guys doing that, and he runs away, and now he's the number 1 suspect for murdering his neighbor that he just met. And he's like running around trying to solve the crime, or also avoiding the cops and the hit squad, and it spirals into this crazy conspiracy. I've only watched, I think there's 8 episodes. I've only watched 3 episodes, but already in the 3rd episode, like, this is getting a little crazy up in here, man. And yeah, no, it's pretty good. I've been enjoying it. And it's already taken some interesting twists and turns. So yeah, I'd recommend it.
Okay.
And then last 2 finally got the beginning of the DCU is finally here, folks.
Oh yeah.
With Creature Commandos.
So good.
So good. I just
warning to the listeners.
Yes.
Hard R rating.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's James Gunn. We kind of knew where this was going.
But it's a cartoon.
It is a cartoon. It's an adult cartoon. I mean, even its art style.
It's not like Spawn.
No.
But you're gonna see some animated breast.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. But yeah. So James Gunn started the DCU. He said that. So it's kind of interesting. One of the things he said was that Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, like, even though there's a 2nd season of Peacemaker, like, they weren't going to be connected to their prior stuff. Like, the ECU is starting fresh, but with the Creature Commandos, like, they've already formed ties to the prior stuff, because you have Rick Flag Sr., who talks about his son and how he died during the Suicide Squad mission. And then they also talk about Amanda Waller's daughter outing her, and that's why. Because that's one thing, when Creature Commandos first started up, I was like, isn't this just the Suicide Squad? Like, why is this different?
Yeah.
But they actually make it clear why. Because after the events of Peacemaker, where Amanda Waller's daughter outed her for her illegal activities, she got told no more human prisoners being forced to do things. So that's why it's the Creature Commandos. And she's like, this is a loophole. They're technically not human. And I'm like,
I think it's kind of a stretch. I feel like the Bride is human.
But she's a corpse. No, I think the Bride... I mean, honestly...
By the way, I love the Bride.
Yeah, no, Bride is fantastic.
Absolutely would.
Who won it?
Nobody can stop me.
Who won it?
Like,
I'd be all over the Bride.
Yeah.
You kidding me? I'm in there. I get it. I also, I mean, this is just me. I could probably hit up the Fist Woman, too. I'm not going to lie. I'm just saying, not opposed.
I would not hold out.
Get some Shape of Water stuff going on.
Yeah. I would not hold out as long as Flag does.
Yes.
With the princess.
No.
That is some weird stuff. So that I didn't like that.
No.
That they brought in Flag's dad.
Yeah, I mean,
to be the new Flag.
He is a legitimate character. It's weird that he's still alive, because in the actual comics, like, he dies shortly after Flag.
And he looks just like him and dresses just like him.
I mean, he looks the same. He has gray hair instead of blonde. But, I mean, yeah, it's weird. He's so young. I mean, he's old, but young. And then, but no. So yeah, you got Bride of Frankenstein, just called Bride. You have Weasel. I love that Weasel's back. I love the scene where they're on the helicopter and Weasel's freaking out, and they're like, "Yeah, last time he was on one of these. He was the only one who survived." Once again, tying us back to the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I love that they get the same actress to do Amanda Waller's voice.
Oh yeah, Viola Davis for that. So Weasel and Soldier, or what's the robot? GI Bot. Are both voiced by Alan Tucci I can't remember how to say it. Guy from Resident Alien, which I love him.
Yep, and Firefly.
And I just love also, like, Weasel. He voices Weasel. It's just making all sorts of random noises.
Oh man, I love the robot.
GI Robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just like GI Robot would love to kill Nazis with you.
And then she's like, yeah, I'll kill Nazis. GI Robot has a friend to kill Nazis with. You have Dr. Phosphorus, which is a dude whose body is just...
He's always an interesting character that I've never really like gotten into him. And
yeah.
Like, yeah, but he's really funny. He's just like, he's like, are you smiling? It's like, well, I'm just a skeleton, so it always looks like I'm smiling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm smiling.
I also like
but you
earlier,
don't know that.
he's like, I'm sarcastic smiling right now. So he's like, yeah, I know. And then a little bit later, he says something. He's like, sarcastic smile. But yeah, and then so it's GI Robot, Weasel, Dr. Phosphorus, Bride, Fist Chick, which I can't remember what her name is. Anybody else? Is that is this 5?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Frankenstein is going to show up. Yeah. Obviously, or he actually shows up at the end of this episode.
Eric
Frankenstein. He shows up, voiced by David Harbour.
I don't know who that
is. He's the guy Stranger Things. He's the Red Wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's got a foot in both DC and Marvel.
Nice.
Right now. So interesting. I was reading one of the things that was talking about. It was talking about the Bride, and it sounds like there's a possibility of the Creature Commandos showing up in the live action movies, because they were talking about the actress who voices the Bride, and they made the Bride kind of like based off of her.
Nice.
So if they decide to do live action, it's just that thing. So I'm just like, yeah, if they go to live action.
At first, I thought it was Haley Atwell doing the voice.
Yeah.
Because it's British. But no, it's a different actor.
But yeah, I was just thinking like, because I just think a lot of times people differentiate like, well, yeah, he's in Marvel, but that's live action. This is a cartoon. But I'm like, there's a chance that they go live action Creature Commandos. He'll be in both Marvel and DC in live action form. Something that not many people get to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great show. If you like Suicide Squad, if you like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, if you like that kind of stuff, it's right at the
James
same.
Gunn.
It's James Gunn.
Yeah,
and it like I said, it's just the start, but it's a good start. It's a good start.
Just know that it's not for kids.
No, 100% not.
Don't watch.
And then last thing is Star Wars Skeleton Crew came out.
I didn't mind the first episode. I haven't watched the second episode.
I've only watched the first episode. Also,
I thought it was interesting to see suburban.
That's what I was saying. Is like I
universe.
actually kind of like this little tidbit because we always see Star Wars from even if it's not just full scale war. I mean, when we had what's it called?
Andor.
Yeah, that still was very political espionage drama. So it's still sown from the mystique of espionage stuff or secret stuff. Where this is no, this is just neighborhood kids and just catching the bus going to school and we're of course going to get to it's Star Wars, so we're going to get to the sci-fi and space ups, of course, but it was just nice little bit of Star Wars of just hey, this is what's happening in the rest of the war is not going to, or where there's not war, this is what's happening in the rest of the galaxy, where people are just you hear about what happened on Tatooine. Oh yeah, that's crazy over there, man. I'm glad that's not here. I love that no matter where you are though, you got blue milk. The kid's having his morning cereal and he's pouring in his blue milk. That's just how it is in this galaxy. Just blue milk for everybody. But yeah, overall, I mean, like I said, not saying it's great, like I said, but first episode was all right, and we'll see where it goes. And like I said, solid week for Donnell. Watched a lot of content for me comparatively to my normal content intake. Not Robert. Robert would have watched 10 times as much.
Oh, I've got a lot. I mean, it's just I just kind of look. I'm always gonna have a list of 20 things, and I'll just chip away at 3, and then I'll add 4.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I watched a new anime. It's one season. We're never gonna get more seasons. Probably. It's a 2019 anime.
Okay.
An isekai.
All right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I would say an early of the new generation isekai, because isekai goes all the way back to the first story, Gilgamesh.
Yep.
16,000 years ago or whatever. That was an isekai technically. Wizard of Oz and isekai, whatever. Anyway, this one is really, it's not super great.
Okay.
But I like it because it does really interesting things with the format of an isekai. It's just a guy in Japan, knows some stuff, gets hit by a truck.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. Wakes up. He's a baby. Gets picked up by this old guy out in the forest.
Okay.
Who trains him how to use magic.
All right.
But he has all his memories from the modern Earth. And so he realizes very quickly how to apply. Like, he's overpowered, but the reason he's overpowered is because he does what I always want every isekai character to do, and it's like, okay, start applying scientific theory and stuff like that to the structure of magic and whatnot. So like there's a you can enchant items.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a sword and then he enchants it to vibrate. So he can just slice through anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like at the age of 10, he's like, okay, I'm going to throw a fireball. Well, instead of throwing a fireball, why don't I use gravity magic to gather up a bunch of hydrogen and compress it really tightly and then heat it up, and he makes a hydrogen bomb out of magic.
Yeah.
And just decimates a mountain. Like literally mushroom clouds appear and stuff like that. And it's just crazy because he's just like, I can use my real world advanced adult scientific knowledge to affect change.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got magic, but he's like, oh, I can teach a bunch of people to fly.
Yeah.
And he basically creates like a team of Power Rangers that like start flying around the world and whatnot. And he finds out that like his father, it's called the Wise Man's Grandchild because the guy who finds him, who's like an old man, was the previous hero of the realm. And like they go to like the big city and like literally hundreds of thousands of people are chasing them trying to get autographs and stuff like that. It's just a very interesting take on it. It's like I said, it's not the best isekai, certainly not the best anime, but it really does interesting things with the format, and I really thought it was worth mentioning.
Nice.
I started watching a new show I'm not done with. They're called White Collar on Netflix.
No White Collar.
I've not finished it. I'm like on season 4.
Okay.
It is trash TV.
Yeah.
But I am addicted to it. It is really fun. It is about a con artist, thief that is in prison, and he breaks out of prison to try and find his girlfriend. Gets caught immediately because his girlfriend's like, "No, I'm out. I've left." He's going back. He gets an extended sentence because he broke out of prison. He was only like, he's gonna get out in like 6 months. I'm like, dude, just wait.
Yeah.
But anyway, FBI agent is like, okay, yeah, you're in here. That catches him is like, you're in here forever, and is like, ask him some questions about a case he's working on. Like, hey, do you know blah blah blah? Because you're in the world, you know, of art theft and forgery and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, I can help you, but you got to get me out of here to do something. And it ends up like going on tether. He's got like a ankle monitor and stuff like that, and he ends up working for the FBI in their white collar crime division, taking down art thieves and people embezzling and all this stuff. And it's just throwing on in the background while you're doing something else. Trash TV. It's on Netflix. It's amazing. It's super dumb but fun. I love Mozzie, his best friend. Really, really good character. Good stuff. And lastly, I watched it on a more serious note.
Okay.
I watched a movie called Conclave. Conclave.
Okay.
This is, I would not be surprised. This is starring Ralph Fiennes. We all love Ralph Fiennes.
Yep.
I would be surprised. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's all out there, but I would not be surprised if Conclave is not nominated for Best Picture, and if Ralph Fiennes is not nominated for Best Actor for this movie. It is about the election of a new pope. Ralph Fiennes plays the bishop who's in charge of running the conclave and voting in a new pope.
Okay.
And it's all kind of about the mechanisms of that and setting it up. I think it does something really interesting in showing like this is like centuries old organization.
Yeah.
But there's also like new technology intermixed with it. Like, because they have like cell phones.
Like, is it set present day? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they got like cell phones, and they're also talking about like, okay, we got to lock this place down because everybody gets locked in while they do the voting, and then they get to the smoke and stuff like that. And they bring in like a crew to the Vatican, and then like he's wandering around and he's like seeing this crew, and he's like, hey, why are they putting like steel over the windows. It's like, well, they've got like these things now that like they can read the sound vibrations on the window, so we got to block all the windows. It's like very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like palace intrigue and whatnot going on, and all the different popes from all the different bishops and archbishops and whatnot from all around the world. I am not a fan of how it ends.
Okay.
Whether you agree with the message at the end or not, I'm not gonna say what it is. It just seemed out of place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fine message, but it was out of place. But it is a really good movie.
Okay.
It is a really good movie, but it's very serious.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's like slow. It is a slower thing, but it's well paced.
How long a movie?
Oh, I don't remember. Like 2 hours.
I'm just, preparing.
It's not like a 4-hour movie.
I'm just preparing my best pet picture palette. I'm like, what we looking at?
No, it's not like a 4-hour like droney thing. No, you watch this and you're gonna be drawn in to the story and hooked into it. And you're not gonna notice that it's not gonna feel long.
Yeah.
But it's not long, honestly. It's really not a long movie. But yeah, it's just very good, and Ralph Fiennes does an amazing job. And I'd be surprised if he doesn't get nominated for Best Actor. And again, I think it's probably going to be part of the Best Picture. I mean, we're in the season.
Yep, we're in the season.
Yep.
This is when they come out. I do love just the contrast you can see today of, like you were saying, like, priests have cell phones. And so just like when you catch like a random photo of like a priest sitting down somewhere with their iPhone out doing something like this, just does not look right. Like they're in their garb.
Yeah.
And they got this, power of technology in their hand, like just does not. It just classy imagery. It's always interesting.
Well, that's the show. Thanks for joining us again. We're going to be back next week with more Silo. Yeah. And we'll have our pre-Christmas special coming up pretty soon.
Yep. And so get ready for all that, and give us any ratings, reviews, 5 stars. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.